Hi everybody, I'm really hoping you can't hear the noise outside. They're like power washing the playground and it's a little noisy, so I'm hoping you can hear me okay. So I understand there's a few questions about muting and unmuting participants, and I wanted to show you inside your meeting how you can change those settings. So when you are in the process of having a meeting, I'm in this meeting by myself, but I like to leave this participants tab open so I can see the whole list of people. When you hover over a participant's name, you'll get this more icon over here. And one of the things you can do is you can mute the participant. This button down at the bottom is mute all. And when you click this button, it allows you to mute everybody in the meeting except for yourself. And you need to decide whether you're going to allow your participants to unmute themselves or not. Now, last year, I absolutely positively had a class where I could not allow participants to unmute themselves unless I gave them permission. This year, my class isn't like that so far. So I allow my participants to unmute themselves. If you have someone who is having a really hard time controlling that, you may have to not allow participants to unmute themselves, and you would uncheck that box. So this setting right here means your participants are all muted and they cannot unmute themselves. Now, if it's time for them to talk and you want them to unmute themselves, you have to go to that same list. It would be over here. Click Ask to Unmute. They're going to get a message on their screen where they have to say OK, and then they would have to come over to the mute button and unmute themselves. Now, for upper grades, this is probably totally fine. They're not fazed by this at all. Now, I know in the primary grades, that can be harder to manage, especially if they aren't reading. Something that I got for free from Kindergarten Smorgasbord was these picture icons that are super helpful. So if you have a student and you need them to unmute themselves, I will always put this up because it's like that visual cue. Oh yeah, they can't hear me, and they need to unmute themselves. If you are in your meeting and you want to change it, so right now my participants cannot unmute themselves. I can go to security and change this setting right here. Right now they are not allowed to unmute themselves. It's unchecked. But if I check it, I can go back and see. Now my participants would be able to unmute themselves without me having to ask them first. I hope that helps. Please let me know if you need any specific help on this, and let me know if you would like.
Should I send your message?
If you would like me to my watch was hearing me. If you would like me to send you these cards so you can have them available in your Zoom calls as well.